We start with the economy. Major corporations are slashing tens of thousands of positions. Trump promised massive growth, much bigger than his hands. And we're seeing something very different unfold. This is not good. Now, I'll give you some of the numbers. UPS, 48,000 employees gone. Amazon has just announced 14,000 corporate layoffs, could balloon to 30,000, according to some reports. Intel's cutting 24,000 jobs. Microsoft has cut 15,000. Salesforce has cut 4,000. Target 1,800 at the corporate level. Starbucks, nearly 2,000 corporate positions have been eliminated. So we are talking here about over 100,000 jobs vanishing from major American companies. And these are just the ones we know about. These are the loud ones. These are the ones that have been announced. Now, let's pick one of these for a moment, Amazon. Their situation reveals a lot of what is really happening here. Amazon HR executive Beth Galetti says they are, quote, reducing bureaucracy and, quote, removing layers. Sounds sort of okay, I guess, except what they're really doing is desperately trying to compete in the AI race, and the profits just aren't keeping up. And Amazon CEO Andy Jassy told employees a few months ago, we will need fewer people doing some of the jobs that are being done today. That's AI. And he admitted that AI was going to reduce their total corporate workforce. By the way, just last week, you might recall this affected the show, affected our Substack. Amazon's cloud service had one of its worst outages in history. It disrupted Venmo and Reddit and Roblox, which is not high on my list, but okay. And they are cutting people while their infrastructure just suffered one of its major outages. So the pattern here is Target has seen sales down or flat for a while. They're hemorrhaging money. Now they're getting rid of people. Starbucks is in crisis mode with a turnaround plan because its sales are plummeting. Intel, Microsoft, and Salesforce, these are tech giants pulling back all at the exact same time. The promise from the current president was massive growth. Jobs, 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 greatest economy ever. There's not going to be anything like it. And instead, what we're seeing are major corporations slashing workforces by the tens of thousands, companies admitting we just can't sustain our current employment levels, and it's a contraction of the job market. We are seeing something now we didn't see under Joe Biden. For all of Biden's faults, he did this wrong, he didn't do well enough with this other thing. Fine. Many criticisms of the Biden administration, but we had really robust job growth. And we have now seen consecutive months of net job losses. And what makes this even worse, in my view, is that some of the companies are using AI as a sort of excuse. Amazon straight up said, AI means we're going to need fewer workers. But what about a plan to retrain those people? What about new industries to absorb these workers? When you start to see major corporations all cutting jobs at the same time, it's a signal to the rest of the market. There's a domino effect. Smaller companies will follow suit, hiring freezes will spread, and the job market will seize up. Now, there's a couple important things to mention here. One is, why is the stock market still doing so well, despite the fact that we are seeing all of these hiring contractions? Two answers to that. One, the stock market may be increasingly decoupled from the hiring situation, becoming more of a up, 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 how high will it go? And that would be a concern for an eventual significant correction. The other explanation would be that, well, there's a delay on that there's a delay effect where predicting lower profits, companies are starting to do layoffs, and it's simply not yet reflected in the numbers. We have to wait on that. But the stock market, listen, I'm not going to lie to you, the performance has been fine. It's been good. One other element I think is important to mention. For a long time, there was a phenomenon when it came to new technology, where a new technology would eliminate some jobs, but it would create entire new ones. You know, the prototypical example is cars came along, Oh no, the horse buggy drivers will lose their jobs. Yes, but the development of cars and the subsequent transportation industry that stemmed from it created way more jobs than the number that was lost. There's a question as to whether that's going to be the case with AI. AI may be a technology that will lead to a net loss of jobs. It won't create more jobs than it destroys. That is a controversial statement. I'm not asserting that I believe that will be the case. There is debate among economists, technologists, and futurists as to whether AI will be a net producer or destroyer of jobs. It's not clear right now, and it's conceivable that it will be a net destroyer. Final thing. When politicians argue about who's responsible for what's going on in the jobs market, who is it? We have to look at the person that promised massive growth and then employed policies, including blanket tariffs and erratic trade policy more broadly. We have to look at that individual as at least shouldering some of the blame. And that individual is Donald Trump. So what's the plan? Where are these workers supposed to go? Why is no one seemingly in the Trump administration taking this seriously? We don't have all of the answers to those questions, but there's certainly questions that I hope voters are going to be asking. And when they go to the polls next week and also in November of 2026, hopefully they will be asking those questions seriously and they will be voting on the basis of the answers that they get. Thanks for watching. Check out this other video. And if you like our content, make sure to subscribe so YouTube puts our videos in your feed, and subscribe to the podcast on Spotify and Apple.